Welcome back to another episode of Modeling Time with me, Brian Banna. In this video, I'm going to cover some things that I should have put in the last video, but I forgot and I didn't get to at that time. So in this video, I'm going to cover a detail that I made a mistake on that I've corrected. I'll show you that. A detail that I forgot and have added. I'll show you that. Fixing the pins that I didn't get to in the last video. I'll show you how I did that. And there's something that I discovered while putting the trucks together, or the side frames together, that there is an orientation to these Type 1 flexi-coils. Now you might be thinking, orientation? The Type 1 flexi-coils can go on either side. They're the same. You flip them around, you put them on the other side. Well, coming from the factory, there's something on them that is in a specific position, so I'll show you that. I got a set of trucks out for the next model that I'll be working on, 4352, which have not been grit blasted yet, and I'll show that detail a little bit better that explains the orientation. So let me get the camera set up and we'll get right to it. Alright, so let's get this orientation thing out of the way first. It's kind of very basic and very simple. But let's say that this is the front of the locomotive. So this is the right side, this is the left side, rear right, rear left. Now, if scaled trains had not put the casting marks or the builder's marks on the side frames, and what I'm talking about, see if you can see it here. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, there's the EMD casting mark. Well, looking at photographs, that casting mark is on the inside. So if the fuel tank was right here, so pull these apart a little bit. If this was a fuel tank here, the casting mark is on the inside towards the fuel tank, not on the leading edge, but on the trailing edge of the truck in the front, and on the leading edge of the truck in the back. So it would be here, here, then on the front it'd be here and here. So that gives you an orientation of the trucks. Now, like I said, if they did not, if Scale Trains or any manufacturer did not put these casting marks on there, it wouldn't matter where they went. They go the same way. Now let me show you the other things that I was talking about. The detail that I made a mistake on, let me get out the rear truck. Okay, so this is the rear truck on the right side. So it'll actually, if this was the front, let's say this is the front now. So it's going to go back here. Let's say this is the fuel tank. So this is going to go back here. This is the front truck on the right side. Excuse me. Or the engineer's side. And so this is the fuel tank. This is the front. Now you'll notice a difference in the plumbing. It's not all the same, at least on these units I'm building. So on the right rear truck, the plumbing drops down like this. On the right front truck, it goes like that. Now, just to give you a little, excuse me again, just to give you a little note here, on the front left, it's going to look like this. On the front right, or I'm sorry, on the rear left, it's going to look like this. Now I'm just talking about the plumbing, not talking about the journals and all that, but the plumbing. So this plumbing is correct for rear right, front left. This plumbing is correct for front right, rear left. So that takes care of that. Now, that's the one detail I made a mistake on. Now, the one detail that I did not add, that I like to add to all my trucks, are the bolt heads on the bottom of the journal keepers. I call these pieces journal keepers, and this one has the sanding hose attached to it, same with this, but there's a bolt that holds this plate over the bottom of the journal areas. So I added that. That's just a Detail Associates NBW. So that takes care of 3 of the items. The 4th item is fixing these broken pins, which I've already done on this one, if I can get it out. So I've drilled them out. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. Oops, a little too much. Get that in focus. There we go. Alright, so I've drilled them out and I've added brass pins in here. So these are drilled out with 33 thousandths. These brass pins are 33 thousandths. They're not glued in, they're just press fit into there. So that one's done. So let's do this one. No big deal. So when these broke off, on most of them at least, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny hole right in the middle. I don't know if that's an air gap or just how it filled or whatever, but that's your center point. So I take my pin right into that hole and open it up. Then I take a 15 thousandths drill bit and just go in there and drill it down till it bottoms out. I don't want to go through the side frame. Then I take a 34 thousandths drill bit, and when I do this, it pretty much cleans out everything that was there. And when the factory put in these brake cylinders, they didn't bottom them all out. So once this drill bit gets through that pin, it hits the bottom of the hole and you know where to stop. So that takes care of that one. This one didn't have a broken on off in it, but I'll just clean it out anyway, in case there's any CA in there. Brush that all off. And this one's got a little bit more in there. There we go. See, now this is a piece of 33 thousandths brass wire. It's from Detail Associates. And I've used I used a diamond file, and I cleaned up the sides, and gave it some tooth, rounded off the edges on where it's cut off, and cleaned it up. Now that should just fit right in there. Fits nicely. Fits nicely. Okay, so now what we want to do is, where's my brake cylinder? There we go. So this one only had one broken off of it, and it just so happens this one it didn't happen on. This one had 2 of them broke off. One of the pins on this one had this little hole. The other one did not, so I had to center drill that one. But this one also has that little tiny hole in it. So I can just take my pin, make it a little bit bigger. Now I want to center drill that, but I don't want to go all the way through. So I'm just going to be careful. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera because I have to hold it facing me. But I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to put the drill bit on it and carefully drill it down, making sure that I'm staying straight with the hole, or with the part. Alright, then I take my 34 thousandths drill bit and I open that up very carefully. There we go. Make sure it's cleaned out. And there's just a little piece of slough on the side. This Delrin doesn't like to clean up easily. Alright, now I should be able to just push this brass into it. There we go. And it's press fit in there, it ain't coming out. So next, estimate, so looking at the length of that pin, I'm going to cut this one approximately the same. There we go. And now all I have to do is clean up the end of that pin with the diamond file. So I'm going to hold this brake caliper. I'm going to clean that up. There we go. And I just want to clean any burrs up around the outside. There we go. And now that should fit just fine. Whoop. That should fit just fine into these holes. And there you have it. That's how I do the new pins for the broken pins on the calipers. So that takes care of the stuff that I needed to explain and show you. Now you've seen how I've fixed the pins, and I can go ahead and finish this brake cylinder. This is the rear left. Here's the front left of 4351. So it has a standard Hyatt roller bearing on the front, speed recorder in the middle, and then it has the speed recorder flange that's capped off on the inside axle. And then this speed recorder line is this, again, this ESU Loc Sound wire. I did not strip the wire out of it. I only stripped the insulation off a little bit, twisted it, and then glued the wire inside the speed recorder. So now I can, it'll be flexible, but it won't kink because it has the wire inside of it. So that takes care of the showing you the trucks on 4351, or the side frames on 4351. I'll go ahead and finish this one up. 4352 has something different on it, so there will be another video for that one. And we'll just close out this video now. Well, I hope this video gave you some good information of the things and details to pay attention to. These side frames are taking me a little bit longer to get through than I thought they would. So it's probably going to be about a month before I get all of them done. I've got 4 models to do, and I'm just finishing up on the first one. But for 4351 and 4352, there's some details that I needed to show you. Like for instance on 4351, it had those extra speed recorder flanges that were capped off on the one side, and things like that. The plumbing is all the same on all the trucks. 4352 has an additional piece of detail but doesn't have all the flanges. 4353 and 4354, your standard Hyatt roller bearing details, so nothing special on those. Plumbing is all the same. So I'll get through these. I'll probably put one more video out on building the trucks, maybe two more videos building the 4352, showing you that extra little detail. And then when I'm all done with all of them, then we got to come back and paint the wheels, paint the gear towers, and get the side frames painted. So I look forward to getting through these, and if you're lasting this long through these video build, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much.